Changing your perspective is one of the first and best things I teach any photographer who is learning about composition. Too many pictures are taken at the eye level of the photographer, when a simple change to a different perspective can make a real difference to your image. Get low to the ground for a worm's eye view of the world. Or you can adopt a higher perspective and look down for a bird's eye view. Let's start with worm's eye view. It is as simple as getting your camera low to the ground. So start by finding a subject you want to photograph and find an angle that you like. I wanted to use the lead-in lines to direct the viewer's eye towards the train. Get as low as you can. Put your camera on the ground if you have to. If your camera has a variable screen that can come out, then use it to help you compose your image. I love my variable screen because it means I don't have to lie down on the ground to capture a worm's eye view photo. Some cameras allow you to tilt out your screen with vertical images too. It really can make capturing images like this much easier. You'll find that you can capture worm's eye view images anywhere. I captured this image and then used the variable screen to get a worm's eye view and capture this image. If I ever see a puddle, some water, or a shiny surface, I love getting close to the reflective surface and capturing images. The great thing about worm's eye view images is that you can capture them anywhere you are. Just get your camera low to the ground. In this scene, I wanted to emphasize the rushing water. So I got down low and put my camera just above the water. It can really bring the viewer into the scene. Now let's look at bird's eye view images. When you can find a bird's eye view perspective where you can look down, take advantage of it. One of the things about capturing an image from bird's eye view is that it is often a fresh perspective for your viewers. You don't have to shoot directly down to the ground. Just adopting a higher perspective can lead to interesting viewpoints and opportunities for images. Try adjusting your position even when you are looking down at your subject. Looking straight down gives me a much cleaner background for my image. You give your viewer a glimpse of something that they don't often see from that angle. For this image, I was on a bridge and the boat came out from under the bridge and I was able to capture the photo. You don't have to look down from great distances. Just point your camera down and do it. Just watch to make sure that your feet aren't in the image. Sometimes there aren't places where you can get up high and look down on the world. In those cases, see if there's something you can stand on, a chair, a table, anything that will get you a higher perspective. And if there isn't anything to stand on, then put your camera up over your head and point it down. This is where having a variable screen in your camera is really helpful. It can help you to carefully compose your image from a bird's eye view. Here's an example of where I saw an opportunity for a bird's eye view image. These workers were painting and I decided to go to the level above them. I peered over the edge and I liked the perspective, and I also loved how all the different lines converged in this image. Speaking of lines, sometimes I'm able to use something in the foreground to make the image even better. Here I included the wood paneling as foreground interest. The vertical lines draw the viewer's attention into the frame, and the person breaks up the pattern of the stairs and draws the viewer's eye. When I approach a scene, I often try the different perspectives like this bird's eye view image and a worm's eye view of the same subject. But sometimes an eye level image works best. Don't be afraid to try out the different perspectives. You can use any lens to capture bird's eye view and worm's eye view images. That being said, when it comes to worm's eye view images, I most often use wider lenses, like in this case where I used a 14mm lens. But you can also use telephoto lenses for low angles along the ground, like this 200mm lens. One situation that I often use telephoto lenses is when capturing images of wildlife. Even when I have a slight downward angle, the background is so close to my subject and it can be messy. But if I can get really low to the ground and on the eye level, like with this otter, there is a closer connection with my subject and the background is a lot cleaner. When it comes to bird's eye view images, the lens you use really depends on how high you are when you're looking down. If you're high up, you can use a telephoto lens like the 70 to 200mm lens I used to capture this image. Or you can use a wide-angle lens and just look down while you're standing on your own 2 feet. When it comes to reflections, I love to use a wide-angle lens and put my camera and lens as close to the reflective surface as I can. Sometimes I am almost in the water with my lens just above the surface. The lower you can get with your worm's eye view and your wide-angle lens, the better the reflection will be. A worm's eye view is more difficult with a telephoto lens like in this image because your field of view is compressed and you need a larger reflective surface. So when it comes to bird's eye view and reflective surfaces, I love to point my camera with a wide-angle lens directly down and rest it against a glass surface. In this case, I'm using a 24mm lens and my camera is pressed right on the glass balustrade. Sometimes I don't have an obvious specific subject, so I try just to look around for worm's eye and bird's eye view images. I say to myself, I wonder what this might look like from above or from down low. Here I'm looking down at this stool. And another bird's eye view image looking at tables and stools. I like the circular shapes contrasting with the straight lines of the floorboards. I tried some worm's eye view images as well. Then I tried a wider shot. I really like the low angle and the out of focus stools in the foreground. In this case, I did have a subject. The shopping cart on its own probably wouldn't have attracted my attention, but I loved that it was in a back alley and close to a beautiful green wall, and it even had this helmet inside. So I started with some bird's eye view images, getting closer and looking for details. I decided to use a 24mm lens that allowed me to easily shoot bird's eye view and worm's eye view images. The lens can also focus down to 37 centimeters or 1.3 feet. I'm not looking for one perfect shot. I'm exploring the scene with my camera. Some things work and some things don't. But I just kept capturing pictures. I'm sketching with my camera. I got close with my camera and found things that caught my eye. Then I tried getting low to the ground. When I got low to the ground, I used that variable screen to help me compose images. I tried slightly different things, and sometimes I varied what I was focusing on or varied the composition just a little bit. Once again, I explored the details while looking for different perspectives. I even tried images without the wall that attracted me to the scene in the first place. Not every image is going to be great, but you will find images that you wouldn't have seen or captured otherwise. And you might even get lucky and have someone walk past and add another dimension to your photo. Whether you start with or without a subject, you can find great images when you capture photos from a bird's eye view and worm's eye view. So here are a few of my favorite images from that exercise. I love the blur of the wheel in the foreground with the other wheel further away. And there is that nice, clean green background. This is a perspective of the shopping cart that people don't often see, so it makes it more unique. I really like how part of the cart is in focus, and I do love the bit of red that works really nicely with the green of the wall. The textures here are just beautiful. At first, when I started capturing images from this angle, I was worried about the background being a bit messy. I started by focusing on the shopping cart, but actually I really like the background in this image. I like the blur of the shopping cart in the foreground, that blue sky and the white of the building. Of course, I also really like that green wall on the side of the image. What was your favorite image? So get out there and explore the world. Change your point of view for beautiful images from unique perspectives. Thanks so much for watching. If you like the content I'm creating, please consider subscribing. Thanks very much.